It's called Soondubu Jjigae because mainly for the soaken tofu. Look at the beautiful red color from the gochugaru. Oh, look at that. Soaken tofu in there. Oh. What's up, you guys? Kiliancha here, and welcome to the second episode of our Korean food series. And today I'm going to be cooking one of my favorite Korean stews, Soondubu Jjigae. It's a type of a spicy soft tofu stew that is so comforting. I'm gonna add some pork, some seafood, some beautiful umami packed stock. And also we're gonna have some Korean homemade food from KimchiManiaSG. They're gonna be providing some different types of banchans, beef bulgogi, japchae, and kimchi pancake to go with our main Soondubu Jjigae. I can't wait. Let's go ahead and cook.
초콜릿은 달콤해 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 오렌지는 상큼해 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 초콜릿은 달콤해 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 오렌지는 상큼해 상큼해 상큼해
Soondubu Jjigae, a Korean spicy soft tofu stew with a flavorful and umami-packed anchovy broth and beautiful gochugaru cake. This was one of the first Korean dishes I tried and fell in love with in an instant. It is such a simple and comforting dish that I crave for, especially when it's raining. It's also the specialty dish of our oppa in Itaewon Class, which has made my mouth water every single time. And finally, I'm gonna cook my own version at home using fresh ingredients to make a flavorful stew that you're gonna wanna create yourself. The key to a flavorful Soondubu Jjigae starts with a soup base or stock. We're gonna use 3 ingredients for this: kelp or dashima, dried anchovies, and white radish. I got this kelp from a Korean grocery, but you can also find it in a Japanese grocery. We need about a few pieces equal to the size of your hand, and some dried anchovies which are locally available in the market. For specific Korean anchovies, they're usually a lot bigger and better to use for stock, but they're more difficult to find. So I bought this instant one from the Korean grocery hoping it would help a lot. Then cut a few pieces of Chinese white radish, which is again what's locally available here. Combine all in one pot with 6 cups of water and boil for 10 minutes on high heat and another 20 minutes in medium to low heat. Prep time. We're gonna need about 5 cloves of garlic. Peel the skin and give it a rough chop until it's finely minced. Peel 1 medium-sized white onion and slice thinly. We only need about 1/4 of it. Peel the carrot and slice thinly, just a few pieces, and make sure to not peel the zucchini, slice a few pieces thinly as well. We're gonna use 3 types of mushrooms. Remove the lower part of the shimeji and leave the enoki for final plating. Only the shiitake needs to be chopped like this. On to the scallions. Chop the white part for the start of cooking and chop the green part for the finishing touches. And we cannot forget the red and green chilies. Chop it nicely for a spicy kick. Next, the meat. We're using ground pork and belly, which we'll chop into small chunks. We're gonna add 2 types of seafood later, prawns and mussels. And we're using 1 pack of silky tofu. Cooking time. Heat up the jjigae pot and add both sunflower and sesame oil. Saute the green and white onion, minced garlic, and let the beautiful aroma come out. Then, add in the ground pork. Season with salt and pepper, and add in the pork belly chunks and cook until it's brown in color. While it's cooking, prepare 1 tablespoon of sesame oil and 2 tablespoons of gochugaru. Mix and add to the pot. And this is the part where the umami flavors are gonna combine. Add the anchovy stock to the pot and let it boil. So we can cook the seafood really quickly like this. Look! No. Look! The mussels are opening up. That means it's time for the veggies to cook. And also time for the soft, silky tofu to bathe in the glorious broth. Look at how soft and jiggly it is. Cutting them is effortless, but don't overdo it as we want the chunks to remain. Finish it off with an egg with salt and pepper and top it with chilies and enoki mushrooms, and we're ready for some Korean feast.
이어폰을 꼈어 보면서 나 봤던 우주 비행하고 싶어 멀미약을 삼켜 나는 내면의 건지 패딩 입은 애 같아 아무 패딩이랑 똑같지 넌 그런 맛에.
Alright, so I just finished cooking the Soondubu Jjigae and I'm so excited to have this Korean feast plated beautifully. Look at these beautiful earthenware plates. It really looks like a legit Korean dining feels right here. So I'm gonna taste first the Soondubu Jjigae because what I know is Koreans would eat this piping hot. Oh. Alright, so let's take the first sip of this. Look at this, it's piping hot. Woo! Oh yes, it reminds me of the very first time I had my Korean food 101. I started eating jjigae. Oh my gosh, this is legit so good. Not because I cooked it, but because it's just super comforting. Straight from this beautiful Korean pot that, by the way, I bought this from the Korean grocery for this specific episode. So I cooked with prawns and mussels and different types of mushrooms in there. It's called Soondubu Jjigae because mainly for the soken tofu. I flavored it with 2 different cuts of pork. We have the ground pork in there, some liempo we call, or the pork belly that I chopped into small pieces. Oh, we put some gochugaru with some sesame oil. Look at the beautiful red color from the gochugaru. Oh, look at that. Soken tofu in there. Let's take a bite of this. I mean, if you like spicy foods, you can add more of the gochugaru, but I feel like if you're gonna eat it like piping hot, what we put is like 2 tablespoons and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. That's the ratio that you can have as a basis. Then you can add more if you want it more spicy. Usually when Koreans would cook main dishes, there's always what they call Banchan, which is a side dish. And it's a quintessential part of the Korean experience of like dining in a household or whether you're in a restaurant, wherever you go. When you say Korean cuisine, there's always Banchan. We are blessed to have these authentic Korean home-cooked meals by KimchiManiaSG. You may check out their Facebook and Instagram. They're doing this homemade Korean food business straight from their home kitchen. So we have here 5 types of Banchan. We have here the egg roll, the spinach, nuts, anchovies, and kimchi. So these egg rolls, it looks so simple, but the ingredients are only eggs, rice wine, salt, carrot, and spring onion, and it's quite difficult to cook. The technique is to spread the egg over the pan and roll it over and over again on itself until you get that beautiful texture and layers. Let's go ahead and try it out. It's got a beautiful spongy texture, a little sweet and salty. Overall, very light, both in taste and in texture. It's one of the perfect appetizers that you can get protein. Really good way to start the Banchan feast. Next we have here the spinach, which are very simple. If you're gonna look at it, it's a healthy side dish. It's supposed to be. That's why Koreans love putting healthy vegetables. And this is blanched and drained, mixed with green onion, garlic, salt, sesame oil, and sesame seeds. Let's try it out. Very straightforward, healthy, and lightly seasoned spinach. Now let's move on to the braised peanuts. So we have here peanuts that have been boiled with soy sauce, rice wine, sugar, corn syrup, and dashima broth. It's cooked over low simmer until all the sauce has been absorbed by the peanuts. Give it a try. Oh yeah, sweet, salty. This is so addicting. This is so good. I mean, it's a beautiful banchan, but it's a beautiful snack as well. Next are the stir-fried anchovies. Look at that. So these stir-fried anchovies cooked over the pan for a while with soy sauce, rice wine, sugar, corn syrup, and garlic, chilies, and nuts. Then they add the sesame oil for like a smoother taste and touch. What's different with this anchovy is it's like one of the most fancy looking stir-fried anchovy that I've seen in my life. They have some expensive looking nuts in there. They have green chilies, they have garlic in there. So let's give it a try with some nuts, with some anchovy. Okay, let's go. Love it. One bite. I immediately tasted some umami in there. And the texture from the nuts. The saltiness from the anchovies. A little kick when you bite into the green chili, but overall it's not spicy. Next is, I think, one of the quintessential banchan as an ingredient for cooking a lot of Korean dishes. It's kimchi. It's one of my favorites, and this is not for everyone to eat, especially when you ferment it for so long. My husband specifically doesn't like pickled stuff. He doesn't eat kimchi, but I love kimchi. Ever since I was introduced to Korean food, kimchi is one of my favorite things. So these are napa cabbage. So this kimchi, they say, is a labor of love. Like, if you're gonna watch Korean drama, they usually prepare for the specific season for this kimchi, and they would make it into a huge drum. So the steps to make one batch is really laborious. It's so traditional. They leave it outside to ferment. They say the funkier the better. I love it anyways. Let's go try the kimchi. Our fermented flavor, crunchy texture, so good. Next is the japchae, which is made out of sweet potato noodles. This is a popular Korean potluck dish. Look at that, beautiful noodles, springy and bouncy. This dish takes a lot of effort as well. They stir fry different kinds of ingredients. There's bell peppers, carrots, and onions, some mushroom, marinated beef, sweet potato starch noodles, very Korean. If Filipinos has pancit, then this is the Korean version of it. So let's go ahead and try it out. Woo! I love it. So good. Noodles are QQ. I love the added sesame seeds in there. Not too much. And the sweetness as well is just enough. And love the crunch from the vegetables. Oh, the marinated beef is so flavorful as well. The natural umami of the beef. So good. Next is the beef bulgogi. And they say the marinade is the most important part in the beef bulgogi. Of course, that's where the flavor is coming from. This specific homemade version, the marinade is made out of pear, onion, garlic, ginger, soy sauce, sugar, and sesame oil. And it's marinated overnight to tenderize it. It's cooked on a pan with mixed vegetables in there. The best experience, they say, is cook it over charcoal, but not the healthiest. But this one should be as flavorful. A bite of the beef bulgogi. Beautiful. Oh, so good. The quality of the beef that they used in here, beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my soup and get some mussels. Add it onto my rice. Some tofu. Some soup. Let's get some of the pork in there. Course. Honestly, it is really, really good. It's more flavorful than what we had the past week. Okay, let's take a huge bite of this. This is the best stew I've ever had. And lastly, we're gonna try the kimchi pancakes. They say the funkier the kimchi, the better to use here. This is one of the things that you can create out of the leftover kimchis that you have. So this is KimchiManiaSG's version. Look at that beautiful color in there. It's a popular family dish. It's also simple to make. They say it's best eaten on rainy days. I think the kimchi is chopped and then combined with flour, water, and onion. And then the batter is cooked over heat like a usual pancake. So let's try it out. I'm gonna one bite this. The sourness of the kimchi with the contrast of salty and flavorful batter and the crunch from the kimchi and the onion. Wow, like a good snack similar to this peanuts that we have here. For my K-drama, I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna finish everything with my K-drama. I'm gonna play It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Okay, I almost forgot. We're gonna end this feast with this Korean homey makgeolli. This is not sponsored. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Makgeolli? It's like a Korean rice wine. This is the first time I'm trying this. So just gonna mix it like this. You have to drink it on a bowl, but we don't have a specific bowl in here. So I'm gonna use like a shot glass. I always see this in Korean groceries. I'm not sure how it tastes, so look at that color. One shot to end the second episode of our Korean series. Let's go. Ooh, it's like cloudy. Rice wine is there, and it's kind of fizzy. The alcohol percentage here is just 6%. One shot! How's the taste? It's not even sweet, right?
It's not even sweet. The feels is like you're drinking Sprite. I don't know how to describe it as well, but it's not sweet. It's just fizzy, but it's okay.
This is really a beautiful experience. I just want to say thank you for KimchiManiaSG for these wonderful home-cooked authentic Korean food and for lending us these beautiful earthenware plates. I really feel like I'm in a K-drama scene right now. Thank you! So yeah, we're pretty accomplished for what we cooked, the Soondubu Jjigae. When I started eating Korean foods, I started with Himul Jjigae, Budae Jjigae, Kimchi Jjigae, but one of my favorite ones is really Soondubu Jjigae just because of the silky tofu. I personally like this specific one that we made because it's super flavorful. According to our palate, just because we have built the flavors and the stock and all the ingredients that we put, the umami from the mushroom as well. Some people would put soy sauce and fish sauce, that's fine. But for this specific recipe, it's just salt and pepper and the rest is coming from the stock. And so if you want to recreate this recipe, kindly check the information in the description box below and let me know what you want to see in the future videos. But this is the second video of our Korean food series. Next week, I'm going to be publishing another Korean food video. Where do you want me to go next? Korean food hawker or a K-pop themed restaurant? Let me know in the comments section below and I'll see you on the next video. Like and subscribe. Thank you.